Welcome to Using a Food Scale. So we have gone over what macros are, we've gone over how to read a food label, tracking in general. Now we're gonna use the actual tool of the food scale. We're gonna go over a couple of basics here, and bear with me because I'm also gonna give you tips and tricks how to utilize it better. But overall, big thing that we wanna remember is that we are not obsessing over every little gram. We just wanna better understand portion sizes, and we wanna make sure that we are actually being accurate with our calories, because there are things that can sneak up on us that we just don't realize. So one of the things that we're gonna start with is fruit is a great example. So apples, we usually cut off the core. Bananas, we peel them. That is because we don't eat those parts of it, right? So we don't want to track those parts either. So I do recommend starting to weigh bananas without the peels, avocados, what we're scooping out of them, etc. And then when you go to track them in the app, you're gonna see things like large banana, medium banana. Well, what the heck does that actually mean? Well, using a food scale is going to help you understand what does a large banana actually look like, because it's gonna have significantly more carbs than a small banana. So for a while, we're gonna weigh it in grams or ounces, whichever you prefer, out of the peel. So you're gonna peel it. I'm not gonna peel this because I'm not eating it right now, but you would hypothetically peel it, put it on your food scale. It says 200 grams. I'm gonna track it as 200 grams. Then when I go to look at what the calories are on that, I can see what does a large banana come out to as far as calories? What does a medium banana come out to as far as calories? Now I have a visual. When I go to the grocery store, I know what size bananas that I'm eating and how that is gonna play into my overall carb content for the day. It doesn't mean that you can't pick the large bananas, but it does mean, that is gonna come with higher calorie density, and that's okay. But now we know how to track more accurately. Now let's talk about things like meat, frozen, etc. So anything that is frozen is going to, as far as the food label goes, be a weight of it frozen. Anything that comes fresh from a package is going to be the weight that it's coming out of that package at. So if I was going to make these delicious Bare chicken strips, I would weigh them out frozen and then I would cook them. Something similar along the lines is going to be something like pasta. You want to weigh it as uncooked because that's what it accounts for on the package. Or you want to make sure that you're tracking it as cooked in the app. So you would look for pasta cooked or pasta dry for your entry, because it changes volume once it's cooked. So pasta doubles in size. So let's say that you tracked it as cooked pasta, but you weighed it dry. Well, now it's saying that you ate double the calories that you actually did, and you're missing out on more good stuff throughout the day. And vice versa. Let's say that you weighed it cooked and tracked it dry. Well, now you're eating double the calories that you said that you did, which can pull you out of your calorie deficit. Again, same thing with frozen stuff. As it goes into the oven or air fryer, it's going to shrink up a little bit. So if you weigh it afterwards, it's going to increase your caloric intake. And that's where we can get a little bit frustrated when we're tracking super accurately, but we're not tracking in the right state. And that can put us into a calorie surplus or pull us out of our deficit by just enough to make things move a lot slower. So just things to keep in mind there. Then tricks on making tracking a little bit easier. So if you are going to be having this cereal here, what I would do is I would put my bowl down on the scale, zero it out so it says 0. Then I would pour in to the 36 grams that I'm gonna eat, making it easy. Now it's already in the bowl that I'm gonna eat it in. I'm gonna remove it and I'm good to go. Things that are drippy, sticky sauces, like pasta sauce, condiments, or peanut butter, anything that's in a jar, or even things like cottage cheese or yogurt, I would put on the scale. Pardon my dogs. I would put that on the scale, and then I would go ahead and zero it out, and then I would scoop from the jar until it says this is 37 grams, negative 37 grams. So that's 37 grams that I took out that I'm going to eat. That's just a little bit easier than trying to drizzle it onto something and then you're a little bit over and then it's all chaos and it can throw your day off. So those are tricks on using a food scale. Again, this is not to obsess over every little thing. This is to help us understand portion sizes so that now when we do go out into the real world, and let's say that we're at a friend's house and we are making a PB&J for lunch, we can have a general idea of, okay, this is actually how much peanut butter should go on my sandwich because I've done this a million times already. Or I'm at a cookout and I grab a chicken breast from the plate of grilled goodies. I can have a general idea of about how much that chicken breast is and knowing if it's a good portion or not. Same thing when we are doing things like eating potato salad. Well, I made it at home or I've tracked a store-bought portion of it before. So now I know what an appropriate amount on my plate should look like. And that way we can make more balanced meals, more balanced choices. And we know when we can leave things on our plate too. So we go out to a restaurant, the waiter brings us our plate. The amount of rice on there is absurd. I know that I should only eat about half of it and the rest I can be okay with leaving. All of those things are just tools to set us up for success so that we can actually maintain results that we get long term and feel confident in the choices that we are making day to day. So that is using a food scale 101. Let me know if you have any specific questions.